Hey, family, welcome back to another episode of Journey to Harmony. I'm your host, Richard Harmon. And on the channel, we talk about wealth building, we talk about finance, and we talk about overall journey in terms of what is it that we're supposed to become, who God created us to be, and how our financial journey can help in that, assist in that process. Today, we want to talk just a little bit about Deion Sanders and his legendary career, and also his what is going on with him right now. So he has a few, Deion Sanders, if you're not familiar, is one of the 10 greatest NFL players to ever play the game, likely the number one best cornerback, defensive back. And he has been able to generate an amazing overall after career life. Had some instances happen to him recently where I believe he had some of his toes cut amputated, and is currently in the process possibly of having more of his foot removed due to some injury that he sustained in the last like year and a half. But today we're going to talk just a little bit about his contract and the overall situation that he's with at the University of Colorado. So Deion Sanders originally started at the University of Jackson State. I believe the Tigers, I believe, and they're HBCU, a historically black university. Not very well known or anything like that. So Dion goes in, he ends up pulling five-star recruits that normally go to the larger schools, the Alabamas, the Georgias. He ends up pulling some of those players in there, and the Jackson State Tigers go on to win, I believe, the national championship in their region. They're able to go undefeated, and he has some misgivings and some some arguments or disagreements with the overall executive board in terms of how financial payouts were going to work in terms of that situation. So he ends up leaving from there and going to the University of Colorado as the head football coach for that team. University of Colorado has been really bad over the last few years. They were, I believe, 1-12 last year. They were haven't sold out a home game in a 50,000 person stadium in the past 4 years. So Dion is able to bring some talent there. He's able to bring some players, and the overall atmosphere has changed dramatically. They had a spring game this past year, and that sold out. You have celebrities coming in for games. You have people coming in to talk. It's just been a unbelievable atmosphere that he's been able to build at the University of Colorado in a very short period of time. As a result, the University of Georgia recently won the national championship, and their first home game coming up is going to be the cheapest tickets can be bought for about $80 per ticket. In comparison, the University of Colorado, where Deion Sanders coaches, the cheapest ticket currently goes on sale for $450. So that's almost a 5x return that Colorado's getting in terms of their where they are as opposed to where the national champions are. So you see the overall power and overall gravitas that Deion Sanders brings to a university. So with this, it's like you said, if you just compare just the dollar amount. So if you have 50,000 people in a seat in a stadium, and each ticket sells for at minimum, let's say, $100, that's $5 million. You times that by four, you're looking at roughly $20 million per home game. So 20 million times 8 games, you're looking at $160 million just in ticket sales. That's not merchandising. That's not revenue from TVs being on national television. So this investment that the Colorado University has made in Deion Sanders likely could generate easily the first year, maybe close to 300 to $400 million in terms of revenue and just income for the university. Of this amount, you would expect that someone with that kind of pool will be able to generate a percentage of that, maybe 50 million, 40 million, some kind of percentage of that cut. Unfortunately, like Deion Sanders he signed a deal that was roughly pay him about $5 million. So the average football coach in one of the Power Five schools make up are based upon conferences. So you have the Pac-10, you have the Big 12, you have the Big 10, the SEC, ACC, and then um, the ACC, I believe. So you from those schools, each coach is going to generate about $4 million. So Deion Sanders and his ability to recruit and to market his brand is alone is worth 3 to 4 times what the average coach is worth. But he's basically going to make $1 million more than somebody who was never coached before in a team who doesn't have any notoriety. So in terms of his contract, the title, the article says Deion's contract stipulates that he will earn 5.5 million in his first season, which includes a base salary of 500,000 plus 1.75 for radio, television, and public appearances, 1.75 million for promotion and fundraising, and 1.75 million for development of the student athlete. By 2024, Sanders' compensation increases to 5.7 million, then 5.9 million in 2025. 6.1 million in 2026 and 6.3 million in 2027. In addition, Sanders will receive 5 million to assemble his coaching staff and support staff. So think about that, right? So in total, they're going to pay Deion Sanders $30 million for 5 years worth of work. And it's possible that he can renegotiate his contract at some point to get a higher return on that. But by the time that time comes, maybe 3 years or 4 years in, the school would likely have generated close to $2 billion off of that overall investment. And that would have probably, they would probably have paid out about $20 million in terms to Deion Sanders. So this here is an interesting overall insight in terms of being able to negotiate and understanding our financial value. So everyone is not going to be able to be Deion Sanders, but we're all able to have a understanding of our wealth and to be able to be shrewd business people. Whether you're an employee or whether you're a business owner. Um, I think about Oprah Winfrey and Michael Jordan, who both negotiated a percentage of their contract, and that ended up being one of the smartest decisions that they have made. I believe Oprah has made over $200 million for a number of years, going back to I think back to the early '90s, just because she negotiated a percentage of the overall return of her show, and that has pushed her into the $1 billion category. As a result, Michael Jordan is still out of the same way. So this is just a story for us today, right? For us to for us to understand exactly, when we're going to the table, to that business is business, and a lot of times those who are negotiating, while we're looking at it as a family and an opportunity, they're looking at it as an acquisition, and they're trying to get it for as cheap as possible. So they'll give you a few dollars here and make you smile, but overall they understand that your brand and what it is that you bring to the table is so much higher than what you may be it may be paying you. So what are your thoughts on this? Please comment below, like, share, and subscribe. We're always looking at how we can grow, develop, and to learn more about finance and be able to build an opportunity for us and our families. Thank you so much for listening, and have a blessed day.